difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is officially a holiday.
It is okay to be so stressed.
Oh, shit. I apologize for that. Let me turn that off. But it is MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day. And it's big to me. It's very big to me. It's a big deal to me. From my cultural background. And I guess I'm trying to pick the right words here, right? I don't want to sound emotional because I'm not emotional right now. I'm just trying to say the significance of what today is and what it means for for at least the country that I'm in. I know the great thing about ENS is that we're all over the world, but it's a big deal for where we are today as a society, and there still is a lot more and a lot further to go as a society, right? It's not perfect. We see what's going on in the media. We see what's going on. There's no need to talk about a lot of those topics. But at least it's not what it used to be 40 years ago. At least it's not what it used to be 100 years ago. So that is progress, and that is movement, and that makes me happy because we're moving in the right direction, ultimately. But enough about that. Shout out to MLK. Shout out to MLK. They had to do a shout out on for today. Big day, big day, big day for our society with a big, very influential person who will live forever, and who ultimately his name is ingrained in the history books forever for the rest of humanity. Almost, we could say. Well, maybe not. Who knows? The point I'm trying to make is that you don't get your own holiday unless you really made an impact on the country you are a part of. So salute and shout out to that. Let's go ahead and get into the juicy stuff, the crypto stuff, and enough about the politics stuff, right? Because that's not what this show is about, is it now, ladies and gentlemen? To start off with, let's start off with Texas A&M University. Although as a sports fan, I absolutely hate Texas A&M University for many different reasons. I won't dive into it, but I don't like them. Now, as a crypto enthusiast, as a Web3 enthusiast, I think Texas A&M University is leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of their counterparts, ahead of the rest of their peers. So if you look at the first pinned tweet I had to the top, it says Texas A&M University to offer a Bitcoin protocol course to students starting tomorrow. Texas A&M is now going to be teaching about cryptocurrency, about Bitcoin actual protocol. These are future leaders of tomorrow. And this is how paradigm shifts happen, ladies and gentlemen. This is how paradigm shifts happen. They don't happen with the older generation. They happen with the younger generations. Because the older generations, it's harder to break their paradigms. It's harder to rewire their brains. It's hard to get them to understand new concepts. I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm not speaking for everybody because we have guys, a lot of older guys who are crypto enthusiasts. But I'm speaking from the younger generations while they're growing up, while they're learning, And this becomes normal to them. This becomes a standard to them. This just becomes a regular way of living to them. And what happens when they have kids, right? What happens when it's time for them to teach the next generation? So I think that's a huge, huge, huge win for the entire Web3 ecosystem, that Texas A&M, one of the larger universities, is offering a Bitcoin protocol course, because those are our future leaders of tomorrow. And they're going to be the ones leading rooms. They're going to be the ones managing businesses. They're going to be the ones becoming CEOs and all this other stuff. And Web3 will be so normalized to them. Not only is Texas A&M offering Bitcoin course, they're also going to begin to start mining Bitcoin. So whoever is the administration at Texas A&M University, I need them to give themselves a pat on the back, because they're doing God's work right now. They're being innovative and they're taking it to the next level. But I always say, it's always monkey see and then monkey do. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. But what's going to happen is the University of Texas is not going to sit around and say, holy shit, all these students are interested. Texas A&M is making all this money. The University of Texas is going to do it too. And then the University of Houston is going to do it. And then San Antonio University is going to do it. And then University of Florida is going to say, wait a minute, I want a piece of that fun, right? And then there's going to be the University of Southern California. You get what I'm saying here. And now you have a worldwide, or should I say countrywide, all these universities are going to one begin to start mining Bitcoin, maybe to make a little bit more revenue, because as we know, AI might change the course in what universities are in the next 5 years. But two, also teaching Web3 and teaching courses that younger students are going to be interested in. If I was an undergrad, right now, and my university that I went to offered a Bitcoin protocol course, I 100% would have took it. And not only would I have took it, I know a couple of my buddies who probably would have took it as well. Because it's cool, it's different. I'd much rather take that than take some of the other BS that they made us take. But enough about Texas A&M. Great job to them. That is very exciting times ahead. And that relates to us because it's just a paradigm shift that is going to be happening over the course of the next 10 years. Stay tuned. The big news for the day. The big news, lady. Can I get a drum roll, please? I'll give my own self a drum roll. Where's the drum roll thing here? I can't find the drum roll here, so maybe no drum rolls. Found it. Okay, this is the drum roll. This is the big news for the day, ladies and gentlemen. There's been an update on the ENS name wrapper, and it looks like it's could be live in as short as 2 weeks. I just pinned a tweet from our guy Jay Gonzalez, MLB.eth, one of our clients for ZZC Group. Shout out to my boy. And if you look at the tweet from Jeff, the main dev who's working on the name wrapper, says, I'm happy to announce we've deployed the re-audited name wrapper. I've updated on the test contract. He says, I've updated the addresses above, and I'd like to leave it up for a minimum of 2 weeks before we think about deploying to mainnet. We appreciate anyone working on name wrapper integrations to take a look at the code and play around on the Gorilla. So blase, I'm not going to get into full details. You guys could read all the details. I'm not about the details. I'm about the big picture. So for me, if all these devs go in and look at it, they might find bugs, they might not find bugs. Let's say in the perfect world, there's no bugs, there's nothing. Everybody goes in and looks at it. They can't find anything. This thing very well could be live in 2 freaking weeks. 2 weeks. ENS changes forever, potentially. And let's say it's not 2 weeks. Let's say it's another month from now. Who cares? Let's say let's say it goes live in March 1st. Let's just say March 1st, for example. ENS changes forever. The way we thought about the protocol, the way we approached the protocol, the way we did anything forever changes. And what Master likes to say, this now gives opportunity for projects like BAYC, like Doodles, like Budweiser.eth, like Puma.eth. The list goes on and on and on and on. I'm not going to name every single protocol and every single project, but it becomes a game changer. We've been hovering around under 3 million for a long time, since September. So long that we thought we would hit 3 million names registered in October, because we grew so fast. We grew so fast. We grew from less than 1 million to 1 million, from 1 million to 2 million, and then 2 million to almost 3 million. We just never hit the 3 million mark because things slow down. What goes up comes down. But I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, once this name wrapper drops, we already seen it with the email.eth subdomains we're giving out, how hot and popular that's become. That's just one domain. Imagine the hundreds of thousands and millions of other grails that exist out there. What's going to happen when they start giving out subdomains? What's going to happen when they begin to create token gated communities? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And I don't know. And if I knew, I'd be a very wealthy man right now. I can't predict the future. But what I will say, this last thing before I pass the mic over, is our little brains today, right now, at this very second in humanity, can't fully fathom and process all the use cases and how this is going to help evolve Web3 to a level that we've never seen before. Because oftentimes we say, oh, .eth is the new .com. In a lot of ways, yes. But in a lot of ways, it's so far superior as far as tech that we can't even compare it. It's its own giant. It's its own beast. It's its own locomotive steaming down that we can't really compare. Ron also, like I said, a lot that the .com didn't have these subdomain features that we're about to have right now, and it wasn't accessible in every single person. I don't know. My mind's blown. I'm very excited, and you should be excited too. I've been rambling for a minute. That should show you how excited I am about the future. It's a Monday morning, and I feel good. I look good, and I host good. With that being said, I'm going to pass the microphone over to our guy RN1. The mic is yours, brother. Ah, shit. Ron rugged. Listen, it's not even Ron's fault. It's not Ron's fault. I'm going to submit a personal tweet to Elon Musk shortly, because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous on how much rugging goes on these spaces, when a lot of us, this is a serious thing for a lot of us, and day in and day out, the bugs on Twitter spaces need to get fixed. They have to get fixed. Let me not talk too crazy before my Twitter spaces get shadow banned. But back on stage, our guy RN1, the microphone is yours, brother.
Hey, thanks, Kev. That was weird, right? Yeah, I started hitting the button and won't take. It goes anyway. Yeah. Anyway, do something, Elon. But yeah, hey, yeah, Kev. Love the excitement. Love heck. Here it's Monday morning, and I feel like I've had 20 Red Bulls, I feel that same excitement, right? And yeah, just so much going on, right? So much happening, and I think we are doing ourselves a disservice if we can only look at the metrics of the .coms, because we got to look at every email, every username, every PayPal account, every Cash App account, every Venmo account, right? Every uh, Facebook name, every Instagram name, and then we aren't even started about stuff that's never existed, which is subdomains. I mean, it's some exciting stuff, and along those lines, wanted to shout out to ZZC Group and Zero. We were able in our, before this, we have a little, kind of a little 1 hour show that we talk. It's kind of a 101 basics on ENS and ENS maxis. And we were able to give away hero.email.eth. And I see down there our winner is already rocking it down there. Comic Book Apes down there with the You already seeing already rocking that, so super excited. That was a real grail. That was something that Zero came up with, and it was kind of cool. Last week we gave away mission.email.eth, and of course on this show we've given away Fire and Degen. And I'm telling you, the excitement level I feel, I mean, I guarantee people were on that space today just because they wanted to win that, right? And I feel the excitement. And so, yeah, we don't even know. It's uncharted territories. What can happen with that? I don't know, but I'm excited. Wanted to shout out to Zero and obviously ZZC Group, Kevin, everyone else that's involved in that. Exciting stuff, building for the future. Obviously, Master with his red letter. I can't wait to hear about. I'm dying with that. I love that old email he's posting. From years ago. It's like the email you always see. Talking about the .com's going to go the way of the fax machine, and it's just going to go away and stuff you see in the 80s. And I lived through that, man. That was flooding my bags. That was flooding our companies, right? That stuff when some expert would come out and FUD the internet, that was flooding our livelihood, right? I felt that pain. And of course, I knew they were morons and idiots, but it's so hilarious to look back because I lived through that and we're living through it now. But one thing too, and I don't know if it's legit, but I saw 115 ETH bid for SAP Deutschland. That's interesting. Don't know if anyone has any insight on that. Is it a wash trade? Is it a investor? Is it something that they're going to do? The reason I say that is because a good friend of mine, actually nephew of one of my business partners, who first job was working in my businesspartners.com, sold his company to S&P for $10 billion and bought an NBA team. And so that's a big deal. They're a huge company, right? So, and that NBA team is doing some testing, paying some players at Bitcoin and stuff. And hopefully we're actually might be talking to him this week actually about some ENS stuff and some .com projects we're working on. So anyway, just interesting. I wonder if that's a real deal. I mean, obviously I take it serious because my buddy sold it for 10 billion, and I think that was before they went public. I think he made a lot more money than that because I know he paid almost 3 billion for that NBA team. So anyway, interesting thought. I'd love to see someone that big. S&P is a behemoth of a worldwide company. So like I say, I don't know much about it. I just ENS Maverick posted it on our pinned it to the top of our last space. But yeah, look, there's lots going on. Heard Master play some piano for the Friday night happy hour on Friday night. That was epic. Kev told some stories about making stuff happen for the X.eth at the in Vegas, and that reminded me of so many stories. I didn't pipe in because my wife and I were eating out some food there, eating some Indian food, and listening to ENS Happy Hour. But that was awesome to hear Master's beautiful rendition on the piano and hear about Kev that was going to not take no for an answer. And yeah, I've been thrown out of a lot of trade shows, been snobbed, been all kinds of stuff on the early days there. But he went out there and made some stuff happen, and suffering a little persecution, being thrown out, being threatened for the cause. So anyway, that was fun night on the last Friday night happy hour. And yeah, just excited. I share Kev's excitement for what's happening Monday morning, and I'm already like my business partner ENS Maverick always says, Mach 10 with our hair on fire, man. We're going. I got a lot of stuff I'm working on today, and looking forward to the discussion and as we get busier, I'm working on a couple of projects now. So I have a very scheduled, I was on the phone for 14 hours on Saturday, right? And I don't have as much time to join as many spaces. So it's nice to be able to just tap into these spaces and get caught up, right? And I know as it gets crazier, these spaces become more and more important. So looking to hear some wisdom and some alpha. And thanks everyone for coming, and excited for the week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Ron. Ron hosts a space right before these spaces on the ENS Maxis from 10 a.m. Eastern Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is pretty. Not think about it, it's pretty early. This guy Ron is a machine. Now I think about it, holy shit, Ron, you are a machine because you're on West Coast time, right?
Yeah, I'm Mountain Time, but I'm up for 4 hours before that space, so that's it's not that early for me.
What time do you usually go to sleep?
I try and go to sleep by 10, 11, and I'm usually up going by 4, 5 at the latest.
There we have it. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. Vegas, Vegas was a good time. Vegas was a good time. You remind me back about that again, and yeah, I like how you said for the cause of humanity, for the cause of humanity. This is not for me. This is a lot bigger than myself. This is a lot bigger than this single Twitter space right here. What we're doing today is we are the pioneers of the future of humanity if we believe ENS is going to be anything we think it's going to become. If we really believe that ENS is anywhere near the .com, because let's take a step back and realize how big of a statement that is. .eth is the new .com. Let's take a step back and realize how massive and outrageous and wild of a statement for us to even say that. Because look how big the .com is. The internet lives on .com. Everything we know about the internet right now is on .com. You know what I'm saying? You go on twitter.com, instagram.com, tiktok.com, google.com. The list goes on and on and on and on forever. Everything we do is on the .com. So for us to say, hey, this is going to be bigger and better, you got to be a little crazy to say that. I think a lot of us in this room might not, but you get what I'm saying. It's a good thing because we're dreaming big. But I bring all that to say full circle is that this is bigger than me. This is bigger than this Twitter space. This is bigger than this ENS community on Twitter itself. What we're doing is we're pioneering the next generation. We're pioneering the next movement. We will forever be remembered on the blockchain as the early visionaries who really push this narrative forward. And that's big. And that's bigger than any dollar amount. That's bigger than any award, any recognition, any amount of people that's in your Twitter spaces. And we're doing it together. We're doing it together, and we all have different roles in this puzzle piece. But that's what gets me excited every single day is to know that we are shaping the future as we go. I'm gonna pass it over to our co-host, Master. Great Friday night happy hour, brother. The stage is yours.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, first of all, very glad to participate in the Friday night happy hour last weekend, and because I kind of postponed a course, to join that. But thanks to that, I postponed it, and I kind of participated in the first ever, golf course in snow because at that exact date, Shanghai had its biggest snow in past 5 years just by that day, and only one day, the second day, and the second day it's gone. So yeah, I kind of witnessed it. I didn't have a great score because it was very cold. It was snowing all the time, but it was the feeling was fantastic. I think yeah, some of you might can feel what I felt. It was not for the score, but for just have a totally never felt this great. So thanks much for making this happening for me. And yeah, I see some also great news today, especially one news about the subdomain, about the name rapper news. I've taken a look on the full pages on the ENS forum, and I think maybe the time is this time it is the time. And I think this time they are saying it will be audited and put on the next step is put on the test net and then maybe release. So we were supposed within the next 30 days something will happen. And after that, lots of the projects are already standing by for leveraging, taking just use that name wrapper for their service to patching for users to facilitate projects to release their subdomain plan. So one and another, just like what have been mentioned, like BAYC, Doodles, and all these projects already with their .eth domain. Like OpenSea looks rare, they have their own .eth as well, right? So once name wrapper is ready, once it is very easy for them just to put a subdomain plane on their subdomain, their own subdomain, which they already own it, then everything is just as easy as 1 2 3. But imagine the influence of this, the how it will just make an impact to the market, how it will just get more people getting on board to this. I don't think I need to explain a lot into details. You guys all know about it. So maybe, yeah, it's very close. Let's just hold our breath and wait for another maybe 20 or 30 days and see that great things happening. And another news is that by last weekend, I have pinned one thread on the top. It's very interesting, thread. A kind of some guy, his name, he is a Ethereum influencer. His name is Eric.eth, and kind of it was a conversation that being posted by Subdomain King at the beginning. He said actually Eric.eth, he approached Subdomain King first. He says that, hey, I have some interest in ERC.eth. ERC is ERC 721, ERC 1155, this ERC.eth, but I'm nowhere near 15 ETH on it. Is it mainly just something you are looking to hold? And then the guy, Subdomain King, replied, hey, open to offers. How much do you have in mind? Okay, ERC.is. And then he replied again, almost all three letter sales are around 0.06 to 0.1 or so, unless there are a true word. So my offer will be 0.1. Okay, here's the conversation. I think Subdomain King is crazy. He's definitely not happy. So he screenshotted and posted it onto the Twitter, and saying something like you Eric Dot is actually he's working in Ethereum Foundation, or he's very close to the community. He's influencer with more than 100K followers from the core Ethereum team. And you are telling me this is not a true word for ERC, but you work for the Ethereum Foundation, so something like that. So he posted it, and then maybe Eric.is just blocked him. Okay, just block that guy. So I kind of picked up the conversation, and because I also remember this Eric.is for 3 years ago, because I was during 2019 short domain auction. He also posted something. I had my record that he said, because at that time Amazon.eth was auctioned out, sold for 100 ETH. So the guy was commenting something like, just because you pay 100 ETH for something doesn't mean it's worth that in a highly illiquid market. It may be worth one, and you can bleed that out fast. I love the ENS, but given support for other domains coming, it's laughable to think Amazon.eth is worth 100 ETH. So the guy, this is the guy's 3 years ago's message. So I kind of posted. I'm saying that like it doesn't look weird to me, because the guy say the same message like for Amazon.eth 3 years ago. So and earlier this year, I believe Amazon.eth once received a $1 million offer, if you guys remember. So never say never, bros. History doesn't forget. History doesn't lie. And okay, 5 minutes later, I got banned. I got blocked by Eric.eth again. Yeah, I think it was a very fun story. So even very close guy, even the guy very close to the community, even the guy very close to Ethereum Foundation, can maybe undervalue ENS at this point of time. So let's just don't put too high expectation that all companies, they must need it, they must live without it, they must price it with very high cost or something. I don't think so. Everything takes time. Okay, so I was kind of very much appreciate this guy for providing a showcase material for ENS spaces. Yeah, I thank to him. But we'll see, right? We'll see, and only someday when there are some facts happening which prove it. But before that is happening, I don't think anyone can convince the other party. Like 5 6 months ago, Amazon.eth did receive a $1 million offer, but he said it's laughable to think that is Amazon.eth worth 100 ETH, at 3 years ago, while Ethereum's price is only 120 US dollar unit, right? So the gap is huge. We can feel from it. And right now, he is even doing like this. Can you guys imagine, like 3 years ago, how myself and guys like Gary are kind of debating with such kind of guys who is very powerful but underestimate .eth. So yeah, at that point of time, very tough. Right now, we are stronger because I think behind us, we got everybody from the community, like everyone in this space that backing each other's, and we all believe this is the right thing, and that's why we never have a doubt. But 3 years ago, when Eric.es posted something like, I think it's laughable to put on 100 ETH, then well, we were afraid. We were kind of had a doubt. We were kind of not so convinced that it is going to make it, right? Because someone from the core team is even think it's laughable, or otherwise, blah blah blah, right? So right now, we should all be grateful that we made it to this far at this point of time. And within next 30 days, we are going to see a ready name wrapper. And after that, and the next 3 months, we are going to see one and another famous project using their .eth, ENS name to put a subdomain plane, which will attract more users. So a lot of I see there are a couple domains like 2523, the original 23 .es. The original owner is there is a punk 2523's owner. He purchased this name, but later he received a 10 ETH offer from a BAYC 2523 numbers owner. That's very interesting. So let me ask you a question right now: which is more valuable? Punk number 2523 or BAYC number 2523 or 2523.es, right? Because there can be more and more and more of these NFT projects coming. Right now, these are the most famous ones, but later there will be followers. But there is only one 2523.es or unique one, and no doubt for that, right? So yeah, moving forward, I think we were getting better and better because there will be less questioning and there will be more people standing beside each other and answering, clarifying all the uncertainties from the people outside. So yeah, rest assured. But if you are a newcomer, if you just get on board this, you hear we talking all these shits and you are getting excited. One thing you need to remember is that all the amateurs, all the newcomers, all the there's a common mistake you guys make is that you do too many registration. Just like what I have been spoken with Bishara during the last week's interview. A common mistake is you guys do too many registration because everyone have couple hundreds of US dollars. Everyone has that, and everyone will if you are new to the domain, everyone can do that, and you won't feel you won't feel it's weird. You will dream, you will imagine every name could be sold. Every name carries value, but apparently that is not true. And so at the beginning, just hold your hand and just hold and take some learning and check some history records, see what kind of name will get sold, and just do the right strategy. Okay, if you are new to this game, just get less domain but high quality. If you have a limited budget, then just shoot on one domain. I think that's good enough. Selling one gem is way easier than selling 10 ordinary ones, not to mention comparing to selling 100 poor ones, right? Yeah, just focus on your just get a bad use of your resources and shoot for the winning card. I think we are all going to make it. And I'm going to, if I see Gary's here, I'm also curious to hear what Gary thinks about. Do you remember this Eric.es guy and what he exactly do in the ETH community? I'm not sure if you have more, clues, other than me, because right now he blocked me. I didn't even get to know his profile. So take another read. Gary, you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, man, I remember Eric from like just on Twitter back in the day, just just like core OG sort of Ethereum person. And yeah, and the one thread you posted, he was just talking about the competition of ENS with all the other naming conventions coming down the pipeline, almost as if he didn't, really understand ENS, right? He understands ENS enough to have one. He understands, I mean, he has like early enough and enough money to have over 100,000 followers, and to be sporting an ENS, to have his ENS, right? We know that's not cheap. Eric.eth. But yeah, how he's talking about the competition. I don't ever really recall him being a part of like ENS proper, but just being like a talking about ICOs back in the day of ICOs. Remember those? Yeah, taking us way back, like 2016, 2017, 2018, and just making money off of people on Twitter. A big influencer, but just doesn't really doesn't really show an understanding of ENS from the tweets I've seen. More of a trader and higher level like sort of dude. But yeah, man, I mean, someone at his level just it's when you have like a certain number of followers and you just use the mute button or the block button more liberally, and like pro tip, go with the mute button first, before you go with the block button. Because it's good to have haters and it's good to have all that stuff that they say. But yeah, I think it's just really hard for some of these people that have so many followers and they get it like sort of like challenged. Like I don't want to say attacked, right? Like because like what some of our our ENS folk, they really weren't attacking. They were just like challenging. And yeah, some people are really sensitive. They don't want to take it. They just want to focus on their Twitter game. They don't want to, really have those hard discussions because they're trying to dip their toes in so many different areas. Like, how can we expect anyone to be an expert on everything, right? There's so many things and things are changing and moving so quickly. There's always like a new EIP to read about. There's always like a newsletter and there's always like updates, and there's just like a massive amount of information. And so like someone that's like busy trading and doing whatever, projects that they're working on. We just can't expect everyone to know everything. And I don't know how we do this, right? How do we make our point across to people? But maybe, it's like weird because people like they block and they mute. We say things they don't want to say. I'm guilty of this, right? It's like I'm more guilty of this than most people, right? And I've been blocked by a lot of people. And I've had disagreements with core ENS devs about certain things. But yeah, how do we like have these ideas and get these ideas out there to sort of prove our point, to like prove our thesis, and do it in a way where they can't ignore us. Do it in a way where we get, instead of like us being their reply guy, like how do we get them to reply, on this and I think it's just being consistent and being consistent and highlighting. If you're not building something yourself, then highlighting what other people are building, right? Not everybody is a builder, and so if you're a builder, you got to be consistently building, consistently evolving, putting out new product, new versions as quickly as you can. And if you're not a builder, if you're a content creator or just a supporter, then we just need to do a really good job about supporting the people who we know are here, who we know are building, who we know are supporting. And the downside of that is that we don't want to create an echo chamber, because an echo chamber is not anybody's friend, right? But we need to create a support network that is so undeniably strong that it just forces people to, consider what is in the Kool-Aid that we're passing out. And, there's a bunch of DMs that I'm having with different people about, different projects that are out there developing. And some of those projects aren't using ENS, or some of the developers or advisors on those projects may or may not understand fully ENS, which is kind of funny because they're hardcore into Ethereum. And the thing is that like normal developers in Web 2, let alone normal developers in Web 3, like my experience, and I don't know if anyone can validate this from your professional perspective, but my experience is that they, like 99% of the time, like 99.9% of the time, they don't care about the domain name. They don't think about the domain name. They don't think about the marketing. They don't think about really there's a slightly larger percentage than 99%, but or less than 99%, but they don't think about the user experience that the user's having. And and we see that all the time. That's why domainers make so much money, is because because of them. It's like someone has a .io or a .xyz, and then they get a few $1 million in funding, and one of the first things they do is they buy their .com, their name brand keyword rich .com. Like it just always happens. There's too many stories to go over. Yeah, and it's just like, how do we create, and so if Web 2 developers are they normally shy away from .com and getting their domain name, and Web 3 developers are going to be the same sort of breed. They understand Web 3, they understand Ethereum, but they just don't think about domain names and naming structures as like a primary thing, right? And we see this with NFTs, because every single, like, there's no NFT project there really that has like a none option, right? If you think about like the Bored Apes, if I want to see an ape with no shirt, there's not like a clothing none option, right? And so because they don't think about the naming, they don't think about the structure, because they're too busy building a really, really good product. And so, yeah, the point of all this is that like, people just don't normally think about naming. They don't see the repercussions of naming. They don't see the power in naming, not until they get to a certain scale. And when they get to that scale, then, for better or for worse, then they have to pay the piper for whatever like words they want. And so when we, kind of reply guide to, high level people in like a really positive way, and we're like, hey, look at this, and they don't get it, and then we get frustrated because we don't see how they don't see it, and then we're getting blocked. Like I just wonder, like, how do we balance that? How do we square that between like other actions? Like, what are the actions that we can take that are going to be getting us to the promised land, so to speak, right? And I just think, okay, we're already doing it, right? There's so many people that are building. There's so many people that are supporting. There's so many people that are creating content, but we really don't have like this, like, and we have a community, right? We have a strong community, but we got to take the community, and we need to build some scaffolding. We need to build some structure, so that people that are a part of the community, they know how can they participate, how can they help, how can they be part of the scaffolding, like what are the, like, where's the grocery store in our community, where's the movie theater in our community, and and those are some of the questions that I'm asking myself, and a lot of people are asking, like, how can we support each other, support the builders, support the content creators, and create something, like create a city that's just undeniably beautiful, and supporting all of the beliefs and the ethos of Web3, right, and cypherpunks, and doing that with ENS. So thanks for letting me talk. I'm bouncing out soon, but love you guys as always.
Let's give a round of applause for the standing ovation speech from Master, starting off with a great thread with Eric.eth, and then Gary following up and giving his thoughts. Always love the thoughts. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't noticed, there's some serious OGs on stage right now. We have Gary and Master, early adopters, early visionaries. Like, these guys seen the vision before a lot of us in this room even thought about the word ENS, right? I think that is huge. And we'll also have Ron on stage with us, the guy who's been here since the 90s. He's seen the evolution of .com, and now he's witnessing the evolution of .eth. This is huge. This is a very, very exciting. I am humbled to be on the stage with legends like you guys. But ladies and gentlemen, this is ENS Updates. We do this every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we talk about all things Web3, ENS, crypto related, you name it, we'll discuss it. This is the opportunity for you to come on stage with some legends. Don't be shy, don't be nervous. If you have a little fear of speaking or whatever it is, now's the time to work on it. Right? Now's the time to work on it. Now's the time to get it out. Because when else are you going to work on it? When else are you going to overcome that fear? Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Just want to put that out there. Without that, I got a little tangent, a little off topic. Yeah, this is the stage to talk about any questions, comments, anxieties, frustrations, whatever it may be revolving around this community. What I mean by this community, I mean the Web3 community. This is the stage to ask. Feel free to request. And it's crazy how times have changed. And I remember there was a point of time on this show where we were getting too many requests to come on stage. Like, holy shit, like we won't be able to fit this entire show within the hour and a half mark. And now we're not getting no requests to come on stage, which is kind of crazy. That shows you the evolution of times and the evolution of the show. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe everybody just is I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But I remember in the early days, it was the early days. I mean, back in like summertime, I remember it would just be nonstop. Everybody just wanted a piece to speak on the show. And come back, guys. Please come back. We want more speakers on stage. We want more speakers on stage. But my boy Crypto Reporter just came back. The stage is yours, my man. How you doing today?
What's good, everybody? What's going on, Kev? I know you had the time of your life out in Vegas, man. I should have been there. I got to go back and actually check the recordings of the Friday night happy hour because I know you got some stories. But I just wanted to come up, say hey to everybody. What's going on, Ron, Master? I got to look at that video, man, of you and Bashara. Whew, I know you dropped some gems on them. I know you dropped some gems. What's going on, Gary? Q Capital, Zero, of course, Lex, Drea, ENS Trading Post. Long time, man. Long time. But yeah, just wanted to, say hi to everybody in the community. Just really wanted to, I guess, touch on a couple of points. And I think that Gary had said it really the best, which is honestly, we are a growing community and we have to try to keep a balance, right? We have to try to educate people without feeling like we're harassing people. And I think that the best way that we can move forward as a community, right? And as we're building out this digital space, this digital community, I think the best way we can do that is by one, creating content, and two, be able to actually create things on top of ENS. Like, for example, you start to realize how many people aren't really, one, using their ENS names, and then two, adding things to their current ENS names. I think that once we start to see more projects and even people just putting up their just adding things to the one ENS name that they use, I think that that's when we'll start to see more people come in. But another thing would be just education. Education. I've been really trying to go down this path of educating myself, right? Because going to these different speaking engagements, I want to make sure that I'm properly educated, that I know that I know that I know. And so I've been just doing research when it comes to just domain investing in general. One great resource for that actually has been Ishmaeli.eth. He's has been a domain investor, and even Gary. I know Gary has doing domain investing as well. And in fact, if you want, I would speak to the OG, speak to Gary, speak to Master, because their process of trying to figure out what the grails are, right? Trying to figure out what are the best names out there. And so I think as a community, as we get excited because we see everything that's happening, we're like, oh, we can flip a domain and we have xyz.eth, or we have xyzeth.eth or something like that, and that's going to sell. I think that real hype is over, and now we have to really educate ourselves on, okay, what are the truest forms of digital real estate? What are the best names that are out there? And I think that, as we get into this, as a lot of people are going to be flowing into this, there are going to be a lot of names registered. And then there's going to be a lot of names that are going to expire because they realize that, hey, this may not sell. Um, so as far as, educating, I would just, look up things that are out there, look up the things on YouTube, find a course, find something out there that is going to teach you the proper way to register a domain. Because what we don't want to do is waste our hard-earned ETH. I certainly don't want to do that. And I know that there were some mistakes that I was making earlier, or when I just got in. And now I'm starting to realize that there's a specific way that you want to be able to register a domain. And you don't want to overprice it because, obviously if you overprice it, it's not going to sell. So these are just random things that I've been looking at. But if we are going into this realm of digital real estate, we want to aim for the property that is going to sell. We want to go for the Hamptons, right? We want to go for the New York, the buildings in New York. So if you're a regular real estate investor, you want to aim for those places. You want to aim for the Hamptons. You want to aim for the places that have actual value. So then why aren't we taking that same concept and applying that to our ENS names? Why aren't we taking that same concept and applying it to try to make sure that we are finding the best names that actually are worth value? I think that, you know, we are, I know for myself, I was kind of naive trying to jump into this, but as I'm starting to learn that, okay, maybe I want to aim for one words, or maybe I want to aim for, collections, certain things like that, just to make sure that I am lining myself up properly so that, if I do purchase a name, I eventually want it to sell or hold on to it for a couple of years and then have it sell. But yeah, just wanted to touch on that for a second. And then another thing too, I wanted to touch on the fact that, guys, this is a relatively small community, right? And it is steadily growing, but we are relatively small compared to everything. But as we start to build more, as we start to create more content, as we start doing a little bit of, PR, a little bit of speaking engagements, things like that, we're going to attract a lot of people into this space. So I would just have to say, really get ready. Get ready for that. Get ready for questions. Be willing to ask questions. Be willing to answer questions. Because as people start to realize and have a concept of digital identity, of digital real estate, a lot of people are going to come in. And we are really positioning ourselves right now to be able to capitalize on that once everybody does start coming in. I'm going to end on these last 2 points. I was able to speak to the creator of the Dark Art Protocol, and I think that was a pretty cool conversation that's going to be released, I believe, sometime next week. So I'm excited for that. But one of the things that he was pretty much saying is that, you know, these digital identities, no one really has a concept unless you've been in the domaining world, um, of what digital real estate could really be. And if you would have told me like a year ago, 2 years ago, that, you could be flipping magic internet words, I would have thought you were crazy. And I speak to some people today, and they don't understand domaining, let alone NFTs or ENS. So I think that one of the things that we have to do as a community is be willing to educate others and be able to grow individually so that we can grow this community, this network state, as it is. But anyways, I think that's pretty much all I have for today. Um, I really want to emphasize this point though: education over everything. Because if we really want to take this thing seriously, and we're going to have to start taking this thing seriously, I think that we have to educate ourselves first. But that's all I got, man. I appreciate y'all. Love every one of y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope a lot of our ears was open wide, because Crypto Reporter just said a lot of good things and a lot of great alpha. Appreciate you, Crypto Reporter, coming on and giving us your report. It doesn't get better than that, brother. Much appreciated. Let's go over to Cute Capital. Cute Capital. Love the subdomain. The stage is yours, brother.
Yeah, thanks, Kev, for having me again. I just raised my hand because no one wanted to go on stage a few minutes earlier, but I've got something to say. It's not a real point, it's just kind of sharing the situation I'm in right now, and it's also piggybacking on what Crypto Reporter just said. Next month in February, I have my 1 year ENS anniversary. Exactly 1 year ago, I started with ENS. And the first weeks or month, I think, I made the mistake that I only registered my domains for 1 year, because I didn't realize you can do it for 2 or 50 years. So I got a lot of domains. Overall, I have, I think, 1,600 ENS domains, and a few hundred are going to expire next month, or over a course of a few weeks. So every day in the next month, I have to re-evaluate whether I want to extend the domain or let it expire. And that's kind of hard, but also kind of interesting, because I have now 1 year of experience in ENS, and every domain that is going to expire is a new chance of rethinking what my strategy is, and what I'm expecting of ENS in the years to come. And I started registering domains 1 year ago, which now seems kind of silly to me. I looked up which are the big influencers on TikTok, on Instagram. I looked up their names and registered them, and hoped that these guys are rich. They're making millions, and they want to have their names, and maybe I make a quick sell. And back then ETH was 4,000 USD, I think. And so there was a lot of hopium for me. I thought, I need a 5 ETH sell, so I have 20,000 USD in my pocket, and I can extend all my domains at once for literally free. And of course, this didn't happen. And today I would never register or sell a domain of any influencer. I would give them their name, and try to spread the word by doing so. But I have much more interesting cases, and I don't really know how to deal with this. And I'm interested in how you all think about this. I have words like indoorcycling.eth, or veganrestaurants.eth, or sustainableliving.eth. I did a lot of research when I registered then, and my gut still tells me these are valuable names, and I got a lot of these. But how do you really evaluate whether there will ever be somebody, some corporate, some individual who wants to buy this name? And of course, I can extend it for $5 more, but in this situation, you realize that an ENS domain is not an asset. It's first of all a liability, as long as you have to pay for it. And when you have tens or hundreds of them, then it adds up. And so this is quite an interesting stage right now. I eventually started to register my domains for 2, 3, or 5 years. So that's only a temporary problem. But I think many in this room have the same obstacles to face in the near future. So yeah, I just wanted to share this. I'm very thankful that we have, for example, ENS Vision with the bulk renewal tool. So it's also a really pain in the ass right now that all the explorations are not at the same day, but they're spread over a period of weeks. And one thing is for sure, all the domains I extend, I will line them up on one date in the future. So this will be much more easy to handle for me, and ENS Vision makes it possible. So Zero is in this room. Thanks for this. Yeah, that's for me. Thank you for having me, and I'm interested in your thoughts.
First of all, round of oh shit, I was talking to myself. Um, I was saying round of applause for growth, right? We can't undermine how important growth is in this space and anything we do in life, right? A year ago, you said you had a completely different strategy. Today, that you wouldn't approach it that way, and you would honestly gift those mains away to these influencers and to these guys. Now, the other part is, I think all of us have grown in this game tremendously since when we first started to now. I think a lot of us are seeing this. That's the purpose of a lot of these spaces and things like that, is to get other perspectives, is to see where this protocol is going. It's kind of like a mastermind. But a lot else, what I would say about your other domains is, one, it comes down to two things, in my opinion. Either you're going to build it or you're going to advertise it, right? Or just sit back, kick your feet up, grab your cigar, um, and wait for somebody to come. But you could be waiting a while. You could be waiting a while. But if you don't want to wait that long, which nothing's wrong with waiting, because you're kicking your feet up and you're just chilling, is you need to put those industry related, like vegan restaurants. I think you said, come up with 10 ideas for a vegan restaurant and how you could build on top of that domain. It could be affiliate marketing. It could be you going out and contacting some vegan restaurants. It could be you building a recipe book on vegan food for that particular domain to give a little bit more value. There's so much you could do in the short term, while you wait for the long term results. In my personal opinion. So, and those are the two things I would recommend. Have fun with it. Have fun with your domains. These are your babies. These are what you registered. These are what you thought were valuable. So have some fun with it. Have some fun of it. You can't build it yourself. I'm about to go to guys like Punks who teach you how to build it, who had hosted multiple spaces on how to create decentralized web pages on these domains, and or is just a one YouTube video away, right? Or ask somebody to do it for you. But Q Capital, I think your segment was great, reflecting growth. Anything else you want to add before we go to the next speaker?
No, thanks.
Yep. Thank you, brother, for coming on stage and sharing that. Much appreciated. Let's go over to our guy, Punks. Round of applause for Punks. It's been a while since you've been on ENS Updates. Glad to have you back, brother. The stage is yours.
Yo, GM Kev, yeah, you might regret that, asking people to come up to talk, because, your boy can fill up some airtime. But now, just GM to you, to Ron, to Master, Gary, Enzo, Stephen came up, Q Capital, 3113, of course, our guy, Crypto Reporter, and Wojak. Yeah, I'm doing the law deal, but it is MLK Day, so courts are closed. I have the day off, and man, I'm glad you kicked it off, the space, with a little snippet from the "I Have a Dream" speech, and so I know you kind of said, well, let's shift gears. That's political. We don't do that here. But let me tell you something. Martin Luther King, he's a great hero of mine, and it is not just political. Look, man, the ENS protocol, decentralization, trustless, immutable. These are all things that relate directly to the social change that I want to see. Be the change that you want to see. That's a Gandhi quote, but they're, two heroes of mine that believed in nonviolence. And so really that's what he was, right? Our guy MLK, who's a philosopher of a nonviolent system of behaviors seeking to bring about that social change and the advancement of justice, freedom, and human dignity. Now, that's kind of the way they introduced him when he came up to give that speech. So there's a couple other things I'm going to say about my man. In that speech, right, we call it the I Have a Dream speech. And that is like kind of what makes the speech so famous. So the funny thing there is that wasn't written. That was off the cuff, off the dome. So it was Malia Jackson, actually, after he gave about 7 paragraphs of the written speech, she just calls out, "Tell him about that dream, Martin." And that was it. He pushed aside the written speech on the podium, and my man took everybody to church. And that's what makes that speech go down in history. So a few years ago for Christmas, I got this book and these audio recordings of some of the greatest speeches of history. Of course, that's one of them. If you have not listened to that full speech, do yourself a favor today and listen to it, not once but twice, and let it resonate with you. So, I'll one more thing about the man. Again, he's such a hero of mine. But hey, sounded kind of, Ron talking to us about the Death March. Q Capital kind of talking about Bill. Look, do what you can, right? So one of the great quotes from MLK: if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. If that doesn't give you chills, if that doesn't inspire you, I don't know what to tell you. But, look, that's what we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about when I say do the damn thing. Kev said something on point. Ron's always talking about this death march, right? And the point is, you're always moving forward, always moving to that goal. And, movement is key. Never stop, never stay still. So, like I said, your boy can fill up some airtime. I just, did want to come up because, felt bad sitting there in the audience. I do have the day off. I've been jumping in when I can, put the headphone in at work, take it out. And so just mostly listening, but I'm glad I had the day off, able to jump up. And the other thing I'll say, you pinned to the top, right? It's exciting. The name wrapper, they went through, they fixed the bugs, they redeployed it. We talked about that, but make no mistake, our guy LCFR Lucifer, he is out there. He is going to be looking for those bugs. So he's one of the devs from ENS Vision. He lives across the street from me here in Miami Beach. I'm gonna try to connect with him today. It is Tuesday. From time to time, we meet up and get some tacos. So maybe I'll try to get together with him for some Taco Tuesday. And I'm gonna whisper in his ear, "Do not look so closely this time at that contract and find more bugs and get this thing taking another bunch of months." So I'll do what I can on my end. But no, we're lucky, to have products like ENS Vision. We are lucky to have developers like Lucifer, who's looking over the contracts in addition to, the actual team that's doing the work. People like Nick.eth himself, people like Jeff, people like Prim, who's not even part of ENS Labs. He's just doing this on his off time. And then, of course, that's what LCFR is doing. And, it's an amazing thing. It's more that community, right? You got this community of devs who not just building it, they're kind of volunteering their time. And then, they're volunteering their time to look it over and find the bugs. Again, Ron says it, his guy, ENS Maverick, said it this morning, right? It's sort of what makes ENS so special is that there's this community. And so, again, we talked about it with some of the OGs like Master and Gary and Ron, who come from that Web 2 world, that DNS world, that .com deal. And they'll be the first to tell you that, this community aspect, it did not exist back then. And that's, something completely different about what we have with Web3 and ENS. It's not just the community, but, it's really kind of the shared and common values that underlie it. So it is really special. I'll end on that. Yeah, just good to be able to jump up here and fill up some of that time for you, Kev. Like I said, your boy can talk.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, punks. Appreciate this. I love everybody in this community. I said, hey, we need more speakers on stage, and we get flooded with requests to come on stage and speak. Guys, I'm happy. Thank you all for coming up and requesting to speak on stage. Punks, hope you enjoyed the day off. This is, I might go play the lotto today. Punks is back, and Punks is a speaker on the ENS Update show. Uh, a big reason, no, seriously, Punks, you played a big role in what this show is today. And I know you have other obligations and other duties, but Punks has played a big role in giving alpha and giving value to the ENS Update show. The show's not what it is because of me. The show is what it is because of the great community members that come on a day-to-day basis and contribute to this overall community, right? I'm just the host. And 9 times out of 10, the speakers are a lot smarter than me. Oh, with that being said, Punks, glad you're here. Look forward to us having more conversations in the near future. Let's go on over to our guy, Enzo 305. Man, I seen Enzo post something how cold it was in Tampa. Brother, I've been freezing these past 2 days where I'm at right now, man. But it is what it is. We'll get through it, and the mic is yours.
GM, good morning, everyone. You know, it's always an honor to get up here and say a few words and listen to you guys. I try to come on here every single day. Sometimes, real life things happen. But last night I was listening to Master's interview with Bashar.eth, and, that was amazing. You hit so many key points there when it comes to, uh, trying to explain to the masses that really, I mean, when I listen to these different interviews, I put myself in their shoes, right? Someone that's listening to it for the first time, they might not, you know, understand what ENS really is, what it does. You know, they might not be on Twitter. I know when I first started my Twitter account, I had no clue about ENS, right? And then started navigating slowly. So long story short, I was having my morning coffee this morning and saw my neighbor. We started talking, and I explained to him, hey, have you registered your name yet? And then he said no, of course. And then I explained to him what ENS was and, what we're doing here. We're onboarding people, pulled up the ENS Vision site. I explained to him, a year ago, well, we didn't have these great marketplaces. We had to do everything on our own, and it was a lot harder to register these things. And, they always come back with questions. Well, why do I need this? Why is it going to be the next.com? Why do you think so? And I said, even if it doesn't, right, for $5 a year, that's less than a cup of coffee, right? Starbucks here in Tampa, Florida is like $7 a cup. You can, grab your identity, your digital identity, hold on to that and see where it takes us. I mean, there's almost 3 million people already registered. So in reality, you're not really throwing away that money because if nothing comes out of it, at least you have your name secure. You can use it as a wallet, you can use it as a flex, and you can use it as your identity. And, he was excited. And I also explained to him, we do that every day, right? We pay premiums on everything these days. If you have insurance and you're paying $200 a month on car insurance, you're paying just in case you get into an accident. But if you don't get into an accident, what the company does, they put the money in the pocket, right? So if you don't have an accident for 10 years, right, that's $24,000 in 10 years. You could have just bought the car, but you're paying for that peace of mind. So I think the insurance business is, that's one of the biggest scams, but we can't get around it, right? So, and like Master said, don't go out and register 100 names that you can't keep up with the maintenance because it gets expensive. I just extended a bunch of my domains, and that's $200-300 easy, and you're just waiting, right? This is time right now. It's almost like you're putting a cube outside, like an ice cube, and just watching it melt away. And every time it gets low, right, you got to put it back in the freezer or get a new one, and just keep at it until the masses come. And that was great news today by the university in Texas. That's what mass adoption looks like. As I talk to these kids over here at USF, where I go, a lot of them don't understand crypto, but they're eager to learn. And if there is a class like that, they'll jump on it right away. I mean, kids these days, they want to learn about technology. A lot of them spend most of their time online, TikTok and Instagram. So I think this is going to spread like wildfire. We're just seeing the beginning. And I think we're going to make great strides this year, especially, you know, that 3 million, it could happen in the next couple of months, right? Break through that. Then next thing you know, we're at 5 million, so on and so forth. But I just wanted to share that, guys. I mean, if we onboard one person a day, one person a week, it makes a difference. We keep doing it every single day. We don't quit. We don't stop. Like they say in the Army, assault forward. So I hope everyone have a good day. Good talking to you guys as always, man. Take care, guys. Peace out. Have a good one.
Much love and respect, Enzo. Appreciate you coming on stage and sharing that, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we're approaching about the final 12 minutes of the show. We have a couple of speakers left. Just putting that out there. We have a hard stop at 12:30, but I'm gonna go over to our guy who was next. Was OX Wojak. I think that's how you pronounce it. The stage is yours, brother. Welcome to ENS Updates.
Thank you for having me, 5159. GM, everybody. Long time listener, first time caller. I'm not much of a speaker, but what you said earlier made me come up on stage and just want to say a few words. So, not much to say today. I just want to highlight your work showing up to the ENS update every day. I really appreciate that. And you couldn't ask for a better co-pilot in RN1 and master.eth. These guys are veteran visionaries and they add so much value and they guide us. So flowers to you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And have a great rest of your day, everybody. That's it.
Yes, sir. Proud of you, brother. Let's give Wojak a round of applause. Right. That you just conquered part of your day doing that. And I know it's not easy. That's not an easy thing to do, especially for somebody who doesn't like to speak or somebody who's not a public speaker or doesn't come up. That's huge. That is huge. I remember hosting my first space. I was extremely nervous, extremely nervous. And then for me, I could do this in my sleep. I could do it with my eyes closed. I could do it driving. I could do it walking. But that took time, that took patience, that took practice. And most importantly, it took overcoming the fear of hosting that first space. But shout out to you, Wojak. Please send me a DM and I'll get you over that ENS Update Speaker Collectible NFT. If you haven't already received your ENS Update Speaker Collectible NFT, which I pinned to the top, and you spoke on this on ENS Updates, please send me a DM. I'm going to be sending those out again. But let's keep the show moving right along here. We have our guy. Let's go 31-13, then we'll go verse, and then we'll end with Stephen Miller.
Hey, GM, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good this morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. I'll keep this short and snappy. The first thing I want to say is well done to 5159 Kev, Master, Ron, Verse for keeping these spaces going, because people don't realize how hard it is to be consistent. I know that the support and rallying from the community does give you the energy to keep on going. But yeah, definitely want to give you a round of applause and encourage you to keep up the good work. I wanted to keep this really short, but going back to what Cute Capital was saying regarding registering names and extending names. Like when I first came into the space, I was actually registering names for a bit longer, and I was very particular with the names because I thought that this was going to take years and years before things started to speed up and catch on. But I think what happened was during the digit run and the speed that we were seeing names registered and the high sales during what we call quote unquote ENS summer, it maybe partially skewed some of our perception on how long we have till adoption gets here. But
we're seeing as things are sort of quietening down that we still have some way to go. So we do still have some good names, and maybe some names are below average, but there is a buyer for that name. But we will need to wait until that time comes. So it's a game of patience, as Master says, quality over quantity. If you have a few really good names and you hold them and you're able to sell them, it's better off than holding 100 names that you have to register. And I think people, it's coming to that year now, and people are starting to really question the names they're holding. I'll speak for myself. I'm questioning the names I'm holding and just making sure what I hold is worth holding. Reevaluate what you hold. And yeah, so that's all I have to say for today. And enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thanks for showing up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for showing. Thank you for coming up. 3113. Please send me DM for your collectible. My guy Verse, the legend Verse. Welcome to have you back today, brother. The stage is yours, man.
Yeah, man. GM, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me, Kev. I'm on the road right now. I had to take care of some IRL stuff, today. So, wanted to make sure I still tapped in. So I'm driving right now. So if I cut out, you know why I cut out. But shout out to 5159. Again, man, just applauding you for facilitating this journey and staying consistent out here, man. We appreciate you for that, man. RN1, of course, can't forget Ron, can't forget Master. Master performed at the happy hour, which was amazing. I don't think that sometimes we don't understand, how powerful that is to have somebody like Master with the time difference and everything like that to just show up and show support and perform at what I believe to be a staple in the community, and that being the ENS Friday Night Happy Hour, 8 months running, right? So, and I can't forget, shout out to MLK for his bravery, and for understanding the outcome that was going to come along with that bravery. That was amazing. I think that people don't quite understand that, and if you listen to that speech, you'll understand that he already knew what the outcome was by him doing that. He had already seen it. He had already been there uh, to the mountaintop. That is. So you have to understand what that means when he says that he's been to the mountaintop. If you have time today, take out, listen to it, but also comprehend it and understand what he's saying. Dissect it if you need to, in order to truly get the message that he was saying. His bravery is untouched, man, and he's not the only one. There's many others out there who also stood brave in that fight for justice, equality, and out here, man. So I just want to say shout out to Enzo. I see Enzo in here. I see Stephen Miller. Shout out my guy Punks, 3113, OX Wozniak, and 00. I see you out here, Lex. What's up, bro? No, I just want to say, Kev, man. Yeah, so I sent out a post this morning. This Friday, I will not be doing the ENS Friday Night Happy Hour. I have some things I got to take care of. So this is a first, guys. So this is a first, but it's some things I got to do. Got to carve out a little bit of time for something else. But I will return. The happy hour will return on the 27th. So just
You got a date?
no date, Kel, no
What
date, bro. Nah, but yeah, though, I just wanted to, it's just some things I got to do, man, and I wanted to make sure that I let the community know because, it's going to seem weird, right? I mean, for everybody, right? Even for me, too, it's going to seem a little weird that we're not doing the happy hour on Friday, but I think to me, it kind of also lets everybody realize that, when you're this consistent in doing something and you don't do it, you feel like something's missing. There's like a piece of the puzzle that's missing in your day to day, whether that's the morning updates show, whether it's the Friday night happy hour, whether it's an existing space that has been continuing to be consistent out here. You feel like something missing, and it kind of hits you, a little bit to say, man, that's just part of my routine. It's just how I function out here, man. And again, like I said, it's just a brief little postponement, just one Friday that we're gonna miss because I want to continue to do the Friday night happy hour. And just to be honest with you guys out here, man, I feel like I'm going through an evolution out here, for Web3. I think that we all are evolving to a certain extent, man. And with that evolution, I've told you guys before that, some people might be here one day and they might be gone the next, and it's important that even punks, like Punk stepped away for a bit, right? And now he's back. So some people, sometimes you need to take that step away for a little bit. But for all the people that you have in here now, make sure you connect to them, because you just never know when they need to step away, or they may have something else calling them to come and do something and make some positive movements in people's lives. You just never know, man. So and if they can incorporate Web3 in that, that's an amazing thing. And that's what I want to continue to do, is always incorporate Web3, because I know the power of blockchain, the power of crypto, the power of ownership. And I just want to keep that to the forefront. So guys, I I say this to that connect with people, man, out here, and make sure that you're connecting with the right people, because these could be long life friendships that maybe you don't even have today, but you've been able to build it out here, in these spaces. And and Punks and I got to get with Punks this week, because we're talking about some things too that I think that are important, just for the community in general to realize that is out there, that we need to just kind of put it out there so everybody understands that, hey, there's some opportunities there that we might not really have explored yet, but the idea behind it is not far fetched. So I think that as Punks and I kind of get a little bit closer and start talking through this, we'll share it with the community, and then we'll see kind of how far we possibly can push this thing. So shout out to everybody, man. Thanks for tapping in, and man, I appreciate you, Kev, as always, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope you handled business the way you needed to handle it. Appreciate you. Verse. Let's end it on Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller, the stage is yours, brother.
GM, everybody. Kev, I know you got to get out of here, man, so I'm just going to keep it real quick this morning. I'll come back tomorrow to add in some good old-fashioned educational value. But I wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow we have the illustrious return of the ENS Shark Tank. Very much so looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a great guest lined up. One of the fan favorites from season 1 is back as a guest tomorrow. That is going to be Captain America, East Shot Guy himself, coming off of a really big sale of a Mutant Hound. So he's got liquidity and ready to buy some big quality domains. Check out the tweet pinned above, or go over to my profile. I've been tweeting out links nonstop for it, so that you can go ahead and submit the domains that you want to pitch on the show, and we'll be notifying people later on today and tomorrow to let you know if you've been selected to pitch on the show. But of course, if you don't want to submit through the form, you want to just try your hand, you can of course come on the show and just leave a comment in the lower right hand corner, and we'll be vetting throughout the show to bring up some wild card picks. But I hope everybody here has a fantastic day, a great week, and just appreciate everybody for taking the time to be out here today, man. Keep doing the work. 5159, have a great rest of the day. Ron, Master, the whole fam, catch you later.
Yes, sir. I look forward to tuning into the Shark Tank tomorrow for Taco Tuesday. And ladies and gentlemen, this is ENS Updates. We do this every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to all the speakers, but more importantly, shout out to all the listeners. You guys are what make this show special. That being said, I am out, and go enjoy your day. We'll be back same place, same time tomorrow. Peace.